Frenkie de Jong has become the headline nobody expected, not for a stunning goal or a transfer bombshell, but because a former Barcelona figure dropped a line so sharp it split the room. Better than people say, but worse than what he is paid. Those words are small but seismic. They turn routine sports chat into a company audit, and they force fans to ask an ugly question. Are we paying for match-winning influence or steady competence? De Jong's game is a mixture of calm, clever passing, and the kind of positional intelligence that hides its importance until the full match tape is played back. Under Hansi Flick, he's been steady, sometimes the glue that holds possession, sometimes the engine that recycles the ball upfield, and that consistency is exactly why club chiefs have lingered over talks about a new deal. But consistency is not the same thing as single-moment decisiveness, and that distinction is exactly what his critics are seizing on. The accusation is not that De Jong lacks class, it's that the wage bracket he occupies is normally reserved for the players who change the scoreboard, the men who arrive in the 70th minute and tilt the result. If you pay like a match winner, the expectation becomes to win matches on your own merits. If you perform like a steady conductor, the salary starts to feel misaligned with impact. The conversation about value is never purely aesthetic. Barcelona are a club balancing emotion and economics, legacy, identity, and a ledger, and that makes every player evaluation a two-headed decision. Joan Laporta's era has been punctuated by a drive to tidy up finances while keeping a competitive roster. In that context, De Jong's wages aren't abstract. They are a line item that can be reallocated to a striker, a defender, a rebuild of the squad's spine. That is the cold arithmetic behind the warm applause. Negotiations that look like mere contract talks quickly become strategic chess. Does the club accept a pay cut to keep a tactical piece they trust, or do they cash a player capital for reinvestment? Either path has consequences. A pay cut would signal pragmatism and keep experience inside the dressing room, but it risks alienating a player who, by temperament if not by headline, expects to be valued. A sale would supply funds but would also demand a tactical reshuffle. De Jong is not a mere interchangeable cog, he's a provider of rhythm, and replacing that rhythm is rarely a seamless transfer. The tactical argument itself is layered. To some coaches, Jong is the ideal pivot. He reads pressure, he breaks lines, he knows when to carry and when to release. To others, he is not the decisive profile, the one who breaks open a defensive block with a sudden match-tilting intervention. That difference in evaluation is not always about talent. It is about expectation. A manager building around counter-attacks or late winners needs star sparks. A manager seeking possession control needs a metronome. Under Flick, we have seen De Jong tilt more towards metronome duty, and the team often looks more balanced because of it. But balance doesn't always headline the evening news, and in modern football headlines drive both public opinion and boardroom pressure. Fans feel this most keenly because football is emotional and financial decisions are proximate. When your captain's pocket size becomes a talking point, supporters wonder whether identity is being traded for accounting. Social reaction to the comment was swift. Some defended De Jong's understated genius, others questioned whether high wages should be reserved for the match deciders. The truth is usually in the middle. De Jong is valuable, but whether he is worth every euro depends on the club's broader plan. If Barcelona choose to build a side where the midfield controls tempo while forwards deliver the decisive moments, keeping De Jong, even at a trimmed wage, makes sense. If the board decides to prioritize investment in goal-scoring talent, he becomes a marketable asset. Whatever path Barca pick will tell us more about the club than it will about the player. Choosing cash now would reveal a club prioritizing short to mid-term overhaul. Keeping him with renegotiated terms would show a preference for continuity and identity. For De Jong himself, the choice is personal too. Accept a new price to stay and be part of Flick's project, or test the market where another club might pay for the box-to-box reliability Barca currently prizes. Either way, the line from a former Barca youth coach that started this debate should be seen as a pivot point, not final verdict. It forces a conversation that every elite club must have. How do you measure a player's worth when talent is both subtle and costly? Until Barcelona decide, the debate will rage on, and the real story might be less about Frenkie's individual brilliance and more about what kind of Barcelona the club wants to be next season.